Now, it was a high-stakes week for the Russia-Ukraine conflict as a US-brokered ceasefire expires and Ukraine is set to sign a major minerals deal with Washington next Thursday. Tensions clearly simmer as the US issued a stern ultimatum to walk away from the peace deal after the renewed Paris peace talks. Europe, meanwhile, returns to the negotiation table with new talks set for London next week. DD India's Rabindra Chauhan reports.
As Ukraine signed a memorandum with the United States to develop its strategic mineral resources, efforts to end the Russia-Ukraine war are shifting with more global players joining in. Also, the developments come at a time when the 30-day ceasefire brokered by the US ended on Friday. The US, meanwhile, has issued a sharp ultimatum. Secretary of State Marco Rubio warned from Paris that America will walk away from peace talks within days unless real progress is seen. He said in clear words that if there is no progress, US has other priorities to focus on.
But we're not going to continue with this endeavor for weeks and months on end. So we need to determine very quickly now, and I'm talking about in a matter of days, whether or not this is doable over the next few weeks. If it is, we're in. If it's not, then we have other priorities to focus on as well.
High-level talks in Paris on Thursday brought together Marco Rubio, President Trump's envoy Steve Witkoff, Ukraine and Europe's top powers to discuss Ukraine's future. French officials called the meeting excellent, noting it marked a renewed European presence at the negotiating table. A new meeting of envoys from the US, France, Britain, Germany and Ukraine is expected to take place next week in London. The US and Russia have held several rounds of talks, often excluding Europe, with meetings in Saudi Arabia and other locations. Kremlin responded to recent developments, saying some progress has been made towards a possible peace settlement, but discussions with the US remain complicated.
Contexts going on are quite complicated because naturally the topic of peace settlement in Ukraine is not an easy one. Russia is committed to resolving this conflict, ensuring its own interest, and is open to dialogue. We continue to do this.
On the other hand, Ukraine and the United States have taken a key step towards a minerals agreement by signing a memorandum to develop Ukraine's strategic mineral resources. Formal negotiations are set to resume on April 24th, with technical talks expected to conclude by April 26th. On the battlefield, meanwhile, Russia continued its offensive near eastern Ukraine, aiming to capture more territories. A missile strike on Kharkiv killed one and injured several others, damaging homes, a school and a business center on Friday. Meanwhile, at the UN Security Council on Thursday, Russia accused Ukraine of violating the ceasefire with over 120 attacks on its energy infrastructure. As peaceful negotiations expand to include more parties and hopes for a resolution grow, the US brokered 30-day pause on energy strikes officially ended on Friday. The move has sparked curiosity within the international community about its potential impact on the conflict's trajectory. Rabindra Chauhan's report for DD India.